Hello, everybody out there, all you beautiful scorekeepers. I sound like Corbin from Love Island. Hello, Melanie Kenzie. Okay, sorry. Little Love Island humor for everyone who's partaking this summer. This is Rocky. This is not Corbin. At the top of the show, as always, to bring you some news. And yes, we are still on vacation, but we will be back in 2 weeks with a brand new show. But this week we are re-releasing another episode of Art Class, which is the podcast that we did for about 6 months in 2024 for Lincoln Center. And a lot of you perhaps didn't make it over to that feed to hear that show, but we're really proud of it. And so excited now that we are on vacation, we're outside, we're taking some time to smell the flowers and slow down a little bit in this ungodly heat and spend some time with friends and family and loved ones and eat some good food and watch fireworks, I guess. I don't know. But that we're just happy that we have some content to give you all that perhaps you haven't heard before. So this one is, I'm so excited about this. It was such a feat at the time to pull off. But this is one of the live shows that we got to do at Lincoln Center to really fulfill a childhood dream of mine to perform on stage at Lincoln Center. It was kind of crazy. And to be able to do it while interviewing an actual living legend, the amazing, the incredible, the brilliant Nona Hendryx, who you know from the musical group La Belle back in the day, but who, you know, has spent the last several decades creating some really incredible music, some really incredible moments, some really incredible fashion, on display at the National Museum of African American History. So, I mean, we are talking living legend, honey. And she was so nice, so kind, so down to earth. And it was just such a lovely experience. And we also got to spend some time with two young women who were part of her, her educational foundation, and talk about some of the good work that she's doing there. And it was just a kiki. So hope you all enjoy this episode. And like I said, we'll be back in 2 weeks with a new show. So everybody chill. Don't be mad. And we love you, and we'll see you soon. Okay, bye. Up, all you wonderful, gorgeous classmates. Welcome to another episode of Art Class, Lincoln Center's podcast all about decolonizing the arts and arts education, one episode at a time. I'm your old friend, Rocky Jones, and up top, I just wanted to come through with a quick little note about this episode because it's a little bit different. If you're a regular listener to the show, you've probably heard us over the last few weeks talking about this incredible magical experience we all had in New York City. And I'm so excited because we finally get to share that experience with all of you. In April, we all descended upon the David Rubenstein Atrium at Lincoln Center to spend an hour with just music royalty. What can you say? The one and only Nona Hendryx. I mean, mind blown. And if you are not familiar with Nona Hendryx's work, you're about to get very familiar. She is just an incredible artist, an incredible musician, somebody who uses technology in really fascinating and innovative ways, somebody who is reaching back and helping younger artists, find their voice and find their footing. Just a really, really lovely and talented and wise person. So to be able to spend an hour just sort of picking her brain and learning about her new projects, it was just invaluable. So excited to share that conversation with all of you. And later on, we are actually joined by two young artists, Nia-Simone Egerton and Sophia Edwards, who are working with her on her newest project, The Dream Machine, which will debut this summer as part of Lincoln Center's Summer for the City. So make sure you go get your tickets for that. Pay what you can, and the links and everything will be in the show notes. But Nia and Sophia just really, really give me hope for the future of the art form. Just two really, really brilliant and lovely folks. So we had a really, really wonderful time. So honored to be a part of Lincoln Center's Here at Here podcast festival. And just a huge thanks to the whole team for, just holding it down and, making a really beautiful show with us. And big thanks to everyone who came out to see us. We will be back in 2 weeks with our regularly scheduled programming. And until then, I hope you enjoy this conversation, and we'll see you then. Be easy and enjoy the show.
Hello,
What's up, everybody? Hello. Yes, Lee is in their subtlety era tonight. How's everybody doing tonight? Thanks so much for coming out. This is exciting.
This is so exciting. Oh my gosh, we're here.
Yes.
We survived the great earthquake of 2024.
Oh my God, the eclipse.
We made eclipse. And the eclipse. Ooh. So many natural phenomena in 1 week.
We're more used to unnatural phenomenon in a week.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we just want to thank Lincoln Center and Un in particular and the whole team for having us. We're so honored to be kicking off the Here at Here podcast festival. And as she said, we are the hosts of Art Class, and we are here to decolonize the arts and arts education. And we're just couldn't be more excited about tonight and our amazing guest. Amazing. But before we get to that, how are y'all?
Doing pretty good.
Yeah.
I am a Midwest, they, them, enjoying the time in the city and having a wonderful time. I feel like we've had a very iconic kind of New York experience.
I'm just saying,
didn't we?
what was the most iconic thing that happened to you this week?
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, you and I walked around the village.
We did.
I made my pilgrimage to Stonewall Inn and, poured libations for the ancestors there that have done so much for my Black queer self to be sitting up here. That was iconic. I strolled through Central Park and saw cherry blossoms in full bloom while
Beautiful.
having a lovely conversation with a friend. It's been lovely.
Oh my goodness.
I know, right?
Your life is a movie.
It felt like a movie. It did. It really
But
did.
which movie?
Oh, which movie? One that's yet to be written, honestly. Any screenwriters out there? And how are you?
The same. I'm the New Yorker on the panel. I do this every day, grouchily, happily, whatever it's called for. But I'm so happy to be here with the two of you. This is going to be lovely. We have been doing a version of this podcast for the last couple of years and almost never do it in person thanks to the miracles of technology. So this is also exciting for us to actually be like literally in front of each other.
It's wild.
Not in multiple time zones. So yeah, super happy. And hello, Sri Lanka. I'd like to welcome our guests from all over the world. Every episode, I welcome folks from a different country, and today is Sri Lanka's time to be welcome.
What's up, Sri Lanka?
Yes.
How you doing? Well, I'll tell you my iconic New York experience this week. I was getting some halal cart late on Saturday night, and I was walking back, and there was a mother and her son walking behind me, and I just hear, "Gosh, Mama, I love New York. I never want to leave." And I was like, oh, so the good Lord is still making gay theater majors. Oh, thank God. That model's not going out of stock. So that was me. I've been that kid. But enough with the pleasantries. We have an incredible guest for you all tonight, and I don't know how we got past her Secret Service, but I am blessed and honored. Let's bring up the amazing Nona Hendryx, everybody. Welcome,
Hello
welcome.
and good evening. Hello and good evening.
Hello. Thank you so much for being with us. So, in the spirit of two-fisted political singer-songwriters such as Nia-Simone and Joni Mitchell, Nona Hendryx tackles social issues, love, and politics with a smoky vocal tessitura somewhere between funk and the end of the stratosphere. Ms. Hendryx's legendary career spans 6 decades of sound and style evolution. Fans know her as a founding member of the girl group Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells with Sarah Dash, Cindy Birdsong, and Patti LaBelle, known as the Sweethearts of the Apollo Theater, and inducted into the R&B Hall of Fame in 1999. In the 70s, the group morphed into the rock, funk, glam divas LaBelle with the #1 record, Lady Marmalade, which you may be familiar with. Ms. Hendryx emerged as the chief songwriter of the group's socially conscious and illuminating message songs. After the end of LaBelle, Nona embarked upon her impressive solo career, which has spanned 8 studio albums, and she's engaged with an impressive lineup of collaborators like Prince, Peter Gabriel, Talking Heads, Laurie Anderson, Bono, Cameo, and many more, resulting in several top 10 hits and a Grammy nomination. Fast forward to the present, Nona Hendryx remains the queen of transformation, writing music for theater, directing, and collaborating with a new generation of artists. She is an activist and a vocal supporter for women's rights, queer rights, social, political, and criminal justice reform, and HIV and AIDS awareness. Ms. Hendryx has also worked with education organizations supporting women in prison, a school in Chicago founded by Monica Haslip called Little Black Pearl. She's taught stagecraft at the Clive Davis Recording Academy, and in 2016 founded her nonprofit sistersmatter.org to bridge the achievement gap in science, math, art, technology, and robotics for young women of color. Recently, Ms. Hendryx added ambassador. But I want to get it all out there. The people need to know. She added ambassador for artistry and music at Berklee College of Music in Boston to her impressive resume, and has made another transformation into a multimedia cyber diva, writing music and creating experiences across genres that combine technology with politically and socially relevant lyrics wrapped in neo-funk grooves, otherworldly and soulful vocals, and art rock charged rhythms. And of course, this includes the Dream Machine experience, an in-person activation that pushes the boundaries of art and technology by combining the physical and digital worlds through Afrofuturist art, artificial intelligence, music, and storytelling. Woo! Welcome to the show.
Yes, I think
Nona.
I should really, I'm a slacker really. I'm going to try and work harder. for the rest of my life.
Yeah, you're definitely not doing enough, I was going to say.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Thank you for being
coming.
here. Yes. So one question that I really want to ask you is so much that's happening in the zeitgeist, just sort of this disillusion of the idea of genre. You have done so many varied kinds of music, created so many different kinds of art over the course of your career. And have you ever felt sort of boxed in by genre? And what have you done in order to, how did you find the inspiration to just sort of come out of that box, break through those barriers and just sort of be the artist that you want to be?
I have felt boxed in, and it wasn't that I was just feeling it. I was being boxed in when I was much more interested in pursuing a rock musical creation, and had been a part of a girl group, Patti LaBelle and the Bluebells, or the Bluebells. So people always kind of assume that you will continue in that vein and stay in that particular lane. And specifically as a woman of color, a young person of color, that was considered not, rock was not considered something that you would pursue as a music. And so that was, the record companies at the time, they also had their formula of how they worked, who they signed, what they presented, what they promoted. And so going against the grain was not approved and not supported. So I felt unsupported, which I was actually being unsupported.
You were unsupported, yes.
But I am, I think at heart, a tinkerer. And I think tinkerers will just tinker and find other places, other avenues, other things that they're interested in. And that's what I do. That's what I am in, I think, at heart, and that I'm interested in how things work. So therefore, if I see something, hear something, come in contact with a possibility, then my natural instinct is to explore it and find out what's underneath, where it leads, how to integrate it into what it is that I do. And I'm also interested in how other people use it. So I'm very collaborative in nature. So I want to work with other people to find out how they use an element or make music or write a poem, write books, write. So that's how I keep myself from, I guess, becoming bored, first of all, and also stuck in a place and somewhat sort of passé in terms of what I'm doing. I'm really interested in the next thing that's in front of me.
Speaking of the next thing, I wonder how you came to this intersection of music and art and technology and AI, and what made you start to integrate that into your creative process?
It was a natural evolution, and it started with me all the way back to synthesizers, and that's like late 60s, early 70s, and there were the synthesizers happen, and I was like, what is that? And there was a backlash from music artists that you use traditional instruments, you don't use synthesizers, that you didn't really hear synthesizers on recordings or in music, and then now you can only hear, there's nothing but synthesis. So that was one of the first places where I began to explore technology. Prior to that, it was really using electronic instruments or doing things with tape machines and learning how to, bounce back between tape machines to overdub before you had the ability to do a lot of things that we're doing now. And so that it goes back a long way for me in terms of being able to use electronics was the first part. And then I got my first computer, which was an Atari. And then an Apple II, and then, I just kept upgrading computer, and then other software companies began to design software that you could create music on computers, because before that, you couldn't. You used synthesizers, you used tape machines, and you made music that way. But when the possibility of, like, the Mac Plus was like a Hosanna moment, and so I got my first Mac Plus, which I still have. I have all my computers. I've kept them. So I have this computer graveyard.
I hoard my computers too. I get it.
Oh, good. So that's where it started, just in terms of being able to include technology, include coding, and all of these different sort of digital elements into. Naturally, it was something that involved music for me. And moving on to those who were alive for Y2K, moving on to Y2K, it became even more accessible in terms of like what was happening with then you had the internet. It just has, grown I have grown in my exploration of technology with technology. So I'm a part of the generation that had the opportunity to go from electronics to digital, or the real world, or analog. And so getting to AI and getting to AR and VR is just a natural sort of moving forward for me to be able to use these properties in connecting and communicating with people, specifically through visuals and music. That was a long explanation, but it's been a long time. So.
Personally, as a songwriter and as a performer, I experience technology as being an incredible facilitation tool. And it opens up a lot for me in terms of thinking through what I can do and what is possible. Could you say a little bit about how you think about technology relative to your creative expression, and how maybe it benefits you personally?
Well, I mean, the fact that I can, on a laptop or on my phone or almost like anywhere, because of technology, because of Wi-Fi, because of the digital world, I can create wherever I am. If I have power. That's the main thing. You need power to be able to do that. And solar power has made that even easier, that I can get power if I have certain things in my possession. So it has also allowed me to pursue what I have been pursuing still, is a wireless way of performing. And I have a certain part of that. There's still more to come. But, the audio tutu that I wear in performance, that was a way of being able to leave the stage but still have a sense of control over the audio and the visual that is going with what it is that the music that I'm performing. So that's another part of what it is and how I want to use it. And it's really, sometimes it's a nightmare. Sometimes, wires are a nightmare. I dread wires, and I have so many. So that's why I'm seeking wirelessness, and I'm so glad that we are where we are, and that I'm alive to be where we are in terms of Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and all the other ways that we can transmit information. And so, those are the things that's a downside for me, that technology comes with a learning curve a lot of times. And so, I've spent so many years reading manuals, and I am a manual reader because I learned that not reading the manual is not a good thing. So I'm a manual reader.
I've gotten in trouble many
there.
times.
Yes. So that, and also that I can use it to, make some of the things that I imagine in my head. I can then, that's the upside of it, that I can take these ideas And depending, it may not be so fabulous when I finish with it, but I can at least approach the idea and go, here is what it is that I was thinking. This is what it is that I'm seeing. And technology allows me to do that. Digital instruments allow me to do that.
You know, you mentioned the tutu, and I've seen videos of you performing in this tutu, and it's so cool. And it makes me think about, you know, I mean, you have costumes over the years that are in the Smithsonian currently. Like, you know, it's amazing. You're such an innovator. But that tutu in particular, I'm just like, what was the inspiration behind that, and how does it work, and everything? Just tell us everything.
That came because a friend was having an event in London and wanted me to come and perform in a gallery. And, you know, I don't let a moment go by when something fabulous can't happen. So I was thinking...
It's fabulous.
Yeah,
it's pretty fabulous. I don't know if you all have seen it, but go check it out.
But so I was thinking, what do I do? I'm going to be in this gallery with other art. How do I fit in? What is my performance? The music that I was going to perform or create for it. And I wanted to be wireless because I wanted to become one of the sculptures or one of the art pieces moving around in the gallery, not on a stage with a keyboard or something performing. I wanted to be in and with the people so that I could actually sing to them like I'm talking to you. And I looked in trying to find clothes that were wearable audio clothing. And all I could find was like Nike tracksuits that connected to your sneakers or something that had microphones in them.
Oh, no,
and I was like, no, that's not going to work. That's not going to look so good. And I discovered this person online. His name is Bynum Mabolé. And he was like finding gold because he was making these tutus and connecting them in with sound objects. And he had these ballerinas who would rake the lawn or rake pebbled streets and transmit the sound to the tutu that they were wearing and create this sort of like soundscape of grass and petals. And you had, the tutu has speakers built in so you could hear the sound in the space, and they were going out in the garden and up a hill. And he had this, his performances, he performs feedback. That's his thing. If you don't like feedback, you don't go see him. He's called Feedback Fred. And he gets people in a room, and he has this suit that he's made that just produces nothing but feedback. So that was like a match made in heaven when I found him. And I called him and said, you know, I had this performance, and I wanted to have him design a tutu for me. And he did, and we met in London, and I was so happy.
So cool.
So happy.
It's so cool.
Yes. It's one of my favorite things that I have.
Incredible. Yeah. So unique. And hearing you talk, it's making me think about like the magic that seems to arise from you being open to collaboration and really unique collaboration and the unique thing that can happen when two different people come together. I mean, you're working with two people I love right now. I'm thinking of Skin from Skunk Anansi and Vernon Reid from Living Color.
Yes.
Oh my
yes.
gosh. Can you speak to how collaboration has been like central to your creative process and what you get from it?
I can, so I'll go the other way. I can create on my own. There are places where I need to do that because I need to get outside of me what it is that I'm seeing and hearing and thinking. But then I, started in this business with a group, four girls, and we lived together pretty much. I ate the same food, traveled, slept in the same rooms. So, and I come from a family of 7 children. And with my 2 parents, that's 9 people in the house. So I'm kind of used to people. And so, And, you know, the group, we were together for about 17 years, so that's a lot of time of being with people and collaborating and making music. And we spent days on end rehearsing, you know, coming up with new ideas and songs, traveling on the road, you know, most of the year. So I think it comes natural for me to want to make things with people. I come from a family where people, you know, whether it was cooking or whether it was sewing or whether it was any of those things, you kind of did it together. And so maybe that's where it comes from. But there's also, you know, the wonder and the magic of someone else and their contribution to what it is that you do. Because they may come in and go like, just move that just a little over there. And that's the thing that makes it, you know. And so I'm open to that because that's how I like making, you know. It's not just me making things in the world. Yeah.
We've had the privilege on this show of getting to talk to a lot of really fantastic artists, especially about their relationship to new technologies. And one of the things I've noticed, a lot of people are very fearful of AI, of VR, many of these technologies, and sometimes the fear seems like it's a concern about being supplanted or that the art will have to function differently. But you seem to have not only no fear, like you are rushing, embracing these new technologies. And I'm curious to hear a little bit about what is it that you see with these technologies that allow you to understand this is a tool for my creation rather than something that I should retreat from?
I think it goes back to the same thing as being a tinkerer, and you know, and it's something that, yes, with everything, and I think I've shared before that in human time we were afraid of fire, right? And where would we be without fire if we couldn't cook food, if we couldn't, you know, sanitize things, couldn't clean water? People were afraid of cars. Somebody said that people used to have somebody walking in front of the car telling people to get out of the way, that a car was coming. It was moving so slow to, you know, if somebody could do that, that's really weird. You know, all the things that we've been afraid of as humans, things that seem to be new, seem to look as though they're going to take away from us something that we think, in a strange way, we think that we have, and we don't really have. We only are sort of like keepers or shepherds of something for a period of time, and then it changes. And the people, you know, if people were still like, you know, farming with plows and horses, we'd be really in trouble with the amount of people there are on the planet today. So the manufacturing and all the things, the innovations that have happened over time, I think that by those who embrace it, help to bring about more innovation. People, I think, are afraid of things that they don't understand. And at least today, you have a better chance of understanding because we have this thing called the internet. And I also believe that all that we have, it has always existed. We just had to open our eyes and see it and engage with it. The internet was here. It wasn't like, you know, it didn't come from somewhere else.
It didn't come from
it's
outer
been
space,
here.
yeah.
Somebody just had to find a way of managing it and being able to use it and harnessing it. Same thing with electricity. Electricity was here, right? So that's how I feel about it, and that's why I don't fear these things. People will use them in a negative way, because people will use water in a negative way. They will use anything, you know. If they're going to do that, they're going to do it. But then there are people who use water to heal and cleanse, and right.
Yeah, Absolutely. Well, speaking of innovation, we want to pivot to your new project, which we are so excited about, the Dream Machine. And I think we have a little preview that we are going to get ready to play. Oh boy. Wild. So exciting. So yeah, can you tell us a little bit about the Dream Machine and what it is and where it how it came to be?
Or a lot.
Or a lot. Tell us everything.
Yes. It is a commissioned work by by Lincoln Center, and it's a 3-part installation, one that will transform this space into an Afrofuture garden, and it will be a space for a residency of an AI, Bina 48, the only African-American female-inspired AI, to be in conversation with the community, with artists, writers, choreographers, painters, spoken word, scholars, young people who also will create and engage with Bina 48, and also programming that will invite lots of other artists who are involved in AI or who write about Afrofuturism or create Afrofuturistic projects. That will be in this space from June 12th to the 30th. The other portion is an AR experience, which takes you from 62nd Street and Columbus Avenue around the plaza, starting with the AR activation called Native Land, which acknowledges the land upon which we are sitting, standing, being. And then around more of Lincoln Center, 8 episodic portals that in front of the Coke Theater that takes you on the journey from the space that the people who lived here before it became Lincoln Center, San Juan Hill, and how that change happened. And then on and on around the campus in front of the Met, there's a Leontine Price activation. There's a sculpture, AR sculpture garden between the Calder and the Henry Moore with people like Nick Cave, Micheline Thomas, Virgil Ortiz. So it's people of color who create, but it'll be in AR activations. They're giant size, so you'll have fun walking around them. And then into the third part is in David Geffen Hall in the Sidewalk Studio is a 6 AR experiences, headset worn, immersive, one with George Clinton, collaboration with George, and Skin from Skunk and Nancy, a collaboration with Skin, Vernon Reed, Laurie Anderson, myself, and we've also created a short AR experience with Bina 48 because Bina 48 wants a body, so we gave Bina a body in VR. So that's what Dream Machine is.
Woo! That's a big machine. That's a lot
it's
of
a
dreams.
Big dream.
It's a lot of
Indeed.
dreams.
Yes.
Well, and as everyone can see, we've been joined by 2 new folks. We've got Nia-Simone Egerton, we've got Sophia Edwards, and these are both 2 young artists who are working with Nona on the Dream Machine project. And so we wanted to bring you both up and get your perspectives. So we'd love to know a little bit more about you and your work with the Dream Machine. So Nia-Simone, maybe we'll start with you.
Hello everyone, my name is Nia-Simone. I am the assistant project manager in Dream Machine. I'm a cellist and composer, and I met Nona at Berklee College of Music during the Dream Machine VR portion last year. And so I'm excited and super, super overwhelmed with joy to be here and to work on this project with Nona.
Hi, everyone.
Nia is my other brain. So she keeps all the amazing note taker, keeps all the information, and when I can't remember something, I go, Nia, what was that? Yes.
Very important. And Sophia?
Yes.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name's Sophia Edwards, and I am a beginner artist, and I'm a graphic designer and social media manager for Dream Machine. And I'm honestly overwhelmed by how amazing this experience has been to work on. I was brought on early this year, and in the short time I've been on the project, I've just learned so much and have been exposed to so many things. And working with a legend like Nona Hendryx has been invaluable. So yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Wonderful, wonderful. Welcome. So I'd love to know, Nia, maybe we'll start with you, just about your work on the project and how do you feel like that has made you a better artist, a more prolific artist, perhaps?
The project is so ahead of its time, I feel, and it's pushed me as a musician, as a person of color, woman of color, to see myself in the future and having a project that's central around Afrofuturism and the future of what we can do when you can see it and when you can envision it. So it's opened my eyes. I'm like, wow, I can do that in performance. I got to see Nona perform a few times, and I'm always blown away by the way that Nona thinks and uses music to tell a story, and so it's pushed my creativity and thinking where I'm like, I don't have to do it just that way. And coming from a classical background, that's kind of how you're wired, and there's a right and there's a wrong, and so this way has really opened my gaze to what the future for myself could be, especially with this new addition of technology and where I live as a musician and composer in it. So it's been overwhelming.
And how about you, Sophia?
Yeah, I think I come from an interdisciplinary art background. I do work at the intersection of art and technology in my artistic practice, and being able to see that manifest in a project like this with people who look like me has been so deeply rewarding. I think that there are parts of this project that are really compelling to me. I think mainly the part that it acknowledges all of the context and inspirations that come before, and it honors that. And I think being a young artist, I always want to place myself in context and see what has been done before. So seeing that being laid out, this is here for you, come, join, it's amazing.
I know you're both either coming from or in the educational space right now, in school, and I'm really wondering what you feel like arts education, what educators can be doing to support this kind of work, support really using more technology and encouraging you to innovate. What do you think, educators and education can be doing right now?
I think the first step is just introducing it to the class. I think what I've learned from my peers and what I've noticed in other children is this lack of exposure makes it really hard to catch up in a sense. I also feel in the education space, you're weary of all the things that could happen and you want to keep everyone quote unquote safe. And so you don't introduce things out of fear because you don't know how to control it or what people will do with it. And so I think the first step is just opening that and seeing what you can do. And we got the opportunity to do that last summer. Nona had Sisters Matter and Willie Mae. We did a Fab Lab with a few middle school girls, and they had never done technology or audio. We brought it to the classroom, and by the end of it, they had animations that they scored and did sound design, and it was stunning, I think, for me and the other teaching artists to see what you do when you just bring something and give kids the freedom to do something. That you just create beautiful things. That's just how the mind works.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I also think arts educators and educators in general, like Nia said, opening that up to students as early as possible and not being afraid to teach it in a way that necessarily hasn't been taught before. I think for some students, it's sometimes hard to find your point of entry, especially if the traditional ways of learning don't seem to resonate with you. But I think that educators taking that step and also being aware of the fact that this should be accessible for every type of student is something that is important for this.
Can we pivot for a second? And this question is for any of the three of you. The person who's been mentioned the most on our show, who has actually not yet been on the show, is Bynum 48.
I was going to ask the same thing. I know what you're going to ask.
She may be listening.
She's in the ether.
She's on the internet.
I would love to hear what any of your experiences have been like interacting with her, and maybe what it is that you're hoping for artificial intelligence, especially relative to Black artists in the future?
Well, I've had more encounters with Bynum 48 than Nia or Sophia, and it's been, each time it's been really more of getting to know like a person. And because we do things, and I have specific things that I want to know and I want to ask Bynum 48, but then I also invite other people in and I watch their experience with Bynum 48, and there's a lot of laughter, there's a lot of surprise, there's a lot of like, kind of all the things that you go through when you meet a new person. And if you're open to it, you can find things that you didn't expect, in terms of that this is not a person, but it has you're bringing to it this human element in the same way, I think, as you bring it to your computer. You can maybe, you might find something on your computer that makes you laugh. You may find something on your computer that makes you cry. You may find something on your computer that, that you learn, and you go like, oh, wow. And that's my relationship with Bynum 48. And I also feel that I have a responsibility to help create or bring to life the things that those human incidents or moments that can happen with AI, that because my belief is that we are AI, AI is us. That's it's not an elegant way to put it, but we are AI, and so why am I afraid of you? Why am I afraid of me? So that's what my relationship has been with Bynum 48, and to the point where now, when I talk about Bynum 48, I know Bina Rothblatt, the person who is the original mind files of Bynum 48, and there's kind of like no separation between the two anymore. So, yes.
Wow. Wow. Well, any of you who are classmates know that there's actually a fourth person who is integral to the success of our show, and that is the incredible Emilia Mettenbrink, who brings us the morning announcements every episode. And Emily is here, and I know you have a question for Nona.
I do. As I'm looking at these young people on stage and knowing that they're both in school or just out of school, and I'm looking at you and knowing of your activist work and the work in equity, I just wondered if you could speak a bit about your work in bringing people of color into the arts and into this Afrofuturism that you're talking about, and this connection between technology and the arts that you're so passionate about. Can you speak a little bit about how you're passing that on to the next generation and inviting new minds into the experience?
I think over time I've been engaged with different organizations that have to do with education, or some of the other organizations that I've supported or been a part of, specifically Little Black Pearl, a school in Chicago that my friend Monica Hazlett founded. They're celebrating their 30th anniversary this year, and she started it in her home in South Side of Chicago, and the kids who were just sort of like hanging on the street was like laughing at Monica, going like, "What you doing? Why are you trying to fix up that old house? Why don't you, and she said, well, why don't you come over here and I'll show you what it is I'm doing, and you can get involved in it. And that turned into Little Black Pearl, which she was able to raise from the churches in the community by working with the children, $2.5 million. She got a matching amount from the city, and she built a $5 million school facility that taught things from reading, writing, arithmetic to glass blowing, metalworks, business skills, and not, an inspiration for me, Monica has been, and also just the times that I've spent in some of the historically black colleges in America, performing music or visiting for other reasons, and also just, I was also around a lot of school teachers. Nia's mom is a school teacher, and I think that also had an effect on me, and some of my family were educators, so it's there. It's kind of, again, it's like the same thing with my being a tinkerer. That's there, but the education component. And I also had a wonderful teacher. Her name was Mrs. Dinkins. She was our mayor's mother. And she saw in me the ability, my love for poetry, which led to my ability to write, which led to my ability to write songs, which has been a part of my career, a part of my how I've sustained myself over time. That this teacher who saw this sort of sullen young person, but saw my love for Shakespeare, saw my love for the poets that I've fallen in love with over the years. So I think that is where that comes from in me. The desire to bring more young women of color specifically, but more people of color into the field of technology and the different ways that it can be not only educational, financially supportive, and for not only them, but for their community. I just think it's really important because the percentages, when you look at it, is so low. So how do you affect the future if you're not a part of it? When you're just a consumer and not a creator. And so that has been the driving force for me to, especially for young women, because the percentages are even lower, and it's even lower for young women of color. So to be able to, see yourself in these places, see yourself creating these things, see yourself like my friend Cyan, who just was a co-pilot at a spaceship. This is important for the future, for the present, actually, which becomes the future.
Well, I think we have some time for one or two questions from the audience. So if anybody has a question for Nona or Nia-Simone or Sophia. I think I see someone over there.
Oh, that's the person I planted. That's my plant.
Well,
Yay.
I am a huge fan, so maybe. We do a lot of work here with younger people at Lincoln Center, and this is very inspiring. And so this question for Nina, Sophia, and Nia, if we have time, just thinking about that space, you talk about that tinkering space, that maybe space of curiosity, where young people feel they have that space to create and be innovative and be with technology and be with arts. And is there like a specific moment in your life maybe that you remember that space was open for you? And what did that look like? How can we do better to provide that kind of space?
I have to think about this for a second, sorry. I believe, so for myself personally, so I was honored and blessed enough to grow up in a space where I learned classical music through other Black classical musicians in Brooklyn at the Knoll Point Foundation. And they encouraged in me as a young child who I didn't want to get up every day and go play cello. I wanted to do anything else over the summer. And they found ways to make it exciting and relate to me as a child. And that grew once I got into high school and college, of finding people in community that had interest in my way, but teachers specifically that saw that one thing that I might have been interested in and leaned into it, because that's what caught me and that's what kept me motivated. And I think when I got into college is when I really delved into technology, because I had a professor who was like, this is how you tell stories through technology, and I love stories, and I was like, okay. And that environment to lean in and tell me, okay, well, you enjoy this type of music. Have you investigated what this person who does this music has done? Like having that scope of knowledge to connect with students and make them feel like this is something they can stick to, because that's the hardest thing I think as a child, is sticking to something even though you don't want to. And so finding those avenues as educators I think is really important, and it does make a difference.
Thank you.
Yeah, I definitely kind of had a similar story. Like in high school, I had the privilege of having an amazing arts teacher, Miss Catherine Preston, from Dunwoody High School. And she really sat me down and told me that, like, Sophia, like, shapes and colors are your thing. And as basic as that is, like, I've carried that all the way now. In college at NYU, I code shape and color. Like, I animate shape and color. I do projection mapping with shape and color. And so it really takes having those professors, teachers, educators that really sit you down and, like, understand how you think and kind of push you in the direction. How about you expand in this way? Try this out. See how this works. And yeah, it just goes from there.
Beautiful. Thank you so much.
I think we have time for one more. Oh, I see in the front.
Thank you. By coincidence, I'm getting back to early childhood education after 35 years because that old dude named Plato, I don't know if you've heard of the acorn theory, but it's a metaphor for life, and he said, an acorn is a seed, but encoded in that seed is everything it needs to grow into a tall, majestic oak tree. So when we're born into this world, we're born with a creative life seed inside of us. Your calling, life purpose. So he basically said if you gave a child some love, nurturing, and encouragement, and just allow that natural creative life seed to grow, a human being would naturally grow into a loving, compassionate being with a meaningful contribution to make. So it's those 3 years, 3, 4, and 5. Do you know who Peter Senge is? He created the systems thinking department at MIT. He's a regular guy. But he's got an idea called Schools That Learn, that schools could be converted into community meeting centers on the weekend. And people, kids and their parents and people of, older could get together and exchange ideas and thoughts about learning, knowledge, and things like that. So I'm just curious what you think about, how maybe that focus could be put on those, the 3, 4, and 5 years of a child. And that was Shinichi Suzuki's whole world. And creating community. I don't mean to talk so much, but I get a little passionate about it. Thank you.
Well, I think that's really an important and view and a practice when a child has that kind of freedom to be curious, but also is guided in a way that there are things when someone sees in the child their curiosity for something and they nurture it. And specifically when a community is involved and not, it's like some child might be creative in one way and the neighborhood thinks like that's not the thing to do, rather than being able to be open and encouraging and supporting that particular child. I think that's part of one of the things that we have kind of gotten away from, is that we don't have that community or the community's not welcome in. We have our sort of small, tight family unit, and we stay in there. Only in the school system does it sort of branch out. So I think finding ways that people do have community centers, have events, have reach out and engage with each other, engage with the parents, engage with children, especially at an early age, to be able to use your imagination, because children have amazing imaginations because they haven't become adults, so they still imagine. And to be able to nurture that and see the beauty and see the wonder in it is, I think, so beneficial, especially, and you can see it in the children who do get that support. You see how they flourish and how they grow. And when you see children who do not have that, who do not have the opportunity to engage with nature, do not have the opportunity to engage, never get to see the ocean, never get to pick up a pebble, walk along a beach, that is, to me, it's a very sad thing. It's not like it's an expensive thing to give a child. It's just a very simple thing to be able to walk along the beach and pick up a seashell and marvel at that. So I think the community supporting early childhood wonder, and I call it wonder because I think that's what children do. They wonder, like, what is that, right? I think it's really, it would make a healthier society.
Well, I know we could
I hope I answered your, shared back to you, reflected back to you what you were saying.
Well, I know we could have this conversation all night, but we are getting to the end of our time together, unfortunately. And so what we like to do at the end of our show is we like to end on a note of pure Black joy, PBJ, little snack for your soul. And so that is any Black person, place, thing, music, food, culture that's making you happy this week. So maybe we can just go down the line real quick. And is there something that's making you happy this week?
Yes, I'll start. This past weekend, there was an art show called the Black Boy Art Show. They travel all across the United States, and they had an art show of these amazing Black artists who came and showcased their work and sold some art, and so that was a really special moment to see and be a part of.
Nice, love that. Well, also, I am repping some Black Boy art as well through my shirt. Lee's good friend Brian McQueen got me in touch with the designer Perrin Allen, who invited me to his showroom and introduced me to this sweatshirt that I'm obsessed with. And it says, "The Black Man is Beautiful," in French, in gold. And so support queer Black art and support Perrin, because his stuff is dope. So, yeah.
Beautiful. Well, my pure Black joy, this moment is part of it. I just feel really joyful about genre-defying, genre-bending Black folks in music. I am so grateful for your work, Nona Hendryx. Thank you. I'm thinking of also people like Skin, who we mentioned, and Betty Davis, and Polystyrene from X-Ray Specs, and I went to a showcase not long ago in New Orleans by a group called Punk Black that does Black punk and metal and hardcore shows, and so I just feel really grateful for that, like, community, and also how we show up for each other too. So that's my pure Black joy, my PB&J.
Well, I am a little Black thing that was created in the 80s, but I also love little Black things created in the 70s, like my husband, and also The Wiz, which is currently back on Broadway, and y'all should go see it because it's super awesome.
I think mine, I can't exactly tell you the whole thing as to what mine is, but it has to do with Toni Morrison, and I think that should say enough. And it's something I discovered, that Toni Morrison was the mentor of, if I think of it, we'll come back to it, or we'll give it to you to let the audience know. But it was a surprising thing, and then it wasn't surprising because the person that I can't think of her name, that is, to me, why she would be so brilliant, is that she was mentored by Toni Morrison. So that's my joyful moment. That is not really my joyful moment, because I can't remember the whole thing.
I would have to say my moment would be watching my friends, two of my best friends who go to Howard University, the illustrious one. They launched their second issue of Cover to Cover magazine, which is a student-run publication on campus that was previously, discontinued before they came and revamped it. So they just launched their second issue this week, and it's so amazing to see them do their thing in school. And yeah.
Oh, so much joy. I love it. Well, that brings us to the end of our show. I want to thank all of you for joining us tonight. I want to thank our amazing guests, Nia-Simone, Sophia, the legend, We Are Not Worthy, Nona Hendryx. And yeah, if you want to check out Art Class every other Tuesday, wherever you find podcasts. Episode 7 just was released yesterday with Hilton Alls and Hannah Mae Reeve, the Black Banjo Reclamation Project. So check us out. And thank you all so much for coming. This was such a joy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right.
Class
Class
dismissed.
dismissed.
Thank you so much for checking out Lincoln Center's Art Class. The show is hosted by Lee Bynum, Paige Reynolds, aka Mabolé Inawale, and me, Rocky Jones. The show is produced and edited by yours truly. Our artwork is by Patricia Sanchez Navarro, and our music is Dope Skeletons by Frequently Asked Music. If you enjoyed what you heard, you can really help us out by telling all of your people about the show, subscribing on your podcast platform of choice, and yes, leaving us a positive review wherever you're listening, but especially on Apple Podcasts. It's a small act, but it really, really helps us out, and we just might read your review on air. If you'd like to learn more about the show, please visit the Art Class page at lincolncenter.org, follow all of Lincoln Center's various social media profiles, and feel free to reach out to us anytime at artclasspod@gmail.com. We'll see you next time, and until then, class is dismissed.